Hello, Assalamualaikum. We are waiting for the student to come from the other room. They have just finished their session with the non-academic department. So right now, let's wait for 1 minute, 2 minutes for the student to enter this room session. Okay. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to all the students, and thank you again. I hope that you guys have obtained the good information from the previous department, from the alumni office, the student center development, and so on. So now we're going to start to continue for the academic briefing by the academic departments and faculties for specifically for chemical engineering departments. Okay, so we are going to start with a video first, then followed with presentation slide by Associate Professor Dr. Wan Zairin. Okay, guys. Okay, guys, welcome back. Thank you again. So, I hope that you guys can see a little bit overview on the chemical engineering department, which is one of the best academic departments in UTB. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome Associate Professor Dr. Wan Zairin, a lecturer, Associate Professor from the Chemical Engineering Department, to start on his presentation. Okay, please welcome.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. Hope you can hear me. Right, so I will present myself. I'm Dr. Wan Zairin Nisa Yahya from Chemical Engineering Department, a senior lecturer. And today I'm going to bring you to our department, Chemical Engineering. So if you can see just now, we have seen the videos of our Chemical Engineering department, and you can see that actually there's not yet students, because this is video during pandemic, during COVID-19. So that is our block. Basically, Chemical Engineering is at block 4 and 5, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so today I'm going to present to you on the overview of chemical engineering at UTP and the future demand. So I hope you are all interested in chemical engineering, and as said before this, it's one of the best engineering department in UTP. Okay, so this is what I'm going to share with you on today, which is what are there are 4 things that I'm going to share, which is what is chemistry versus chemical engineering, and then what are the future demand of chemical engineer, and then the skills demand in 2030, and also the learning experience at UTP, specifically in chemical engineering, right? Okay, to start with, what is chemical engineering? So maybe you are quite new and you're not sure why you are choosing chemical engineering. So normally at the beginning, you're going to, maybe you will say that chemical engineering, if I'm interested in chemistry, then I should be doing chemical engineering. Okay, so now I'm going to explain what are the differences between a chemical engineer and also a chemist, right? So for example, here, this is an example when you want to make a chemistry in making soap. For example, when you want to make soap, you need oil, and then you need base, sodium hydroxide solution, and then you stir it and so on, and you will form a soap, right? So this is the chemistry behind of making soap, right? So what is the difference between chemistry and chemical engineering? So the chemistry is how the things are done. For example, the oil plus base, and then it forms soap, right? So this is the chemistry. But chemical engineering is actually how, when we talk about chemical engineering, it always, we will see more towards plant, right? So this is a chemical plant, and in a chemical plant where you're going to see a lot of towers, distillation column, this high tower, this is the distillation column, and then we will have a reactor, right? So chemical engineering is dealing on translating processes from chemistry, right? So how to do the products, and we actually, if we do it in the lab scale, chemical engineers will translate it to processes. That means that from lab into practical application for commercial production. That means that from the lab, we make it a large scale, and then we will be mass producing. So basically, chemical engineers are, the roles is making it in a lot. So not in a very small quantity, but in a high volume. Okay, so this is the difference between chemical engineers and also chemists, right? So, so here, this is just, I'm just going to share with you what are the chemical engineering at UTP. So basically, you will have a 1-year foundation program, and then followed by 4 years engineering program. So in the 1-year foundation program, how to enter is by either using SPM. So for SPM, that means that you need to have at least 5 minimum C marks in these subjects. and then or for O level, the same, minimum C for this subjects, and then you can apply for the foundation program. And then later on, once based on your foundation program, you can go towards the 4 years engineering program. So either you can enter the 4 years engineering program by diploma with a minimum CGPA of 2.0, or from matrix, similar minimum 2.0 CGPA, or from foundation from a recognized institution. This is, for example, if you're not entering from foundation in UTP. So either you go from foundation UTP or from these three others, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 other entry requirements. So you can also have A level or STPM or UEC, and these are the minimum grades to enter the 4 years engineering program. So basically, this all of the information on the entry requirement. You can find it in our website at utp.edu.my. Okay, so maybe it is already explained in the previous session. Okay, so basically, in our program of chemical engineering in UTP, we have in 4 years we are divided into 3 semesters. So we have semester 1, 2, and 3 each year, and then so for each semester, you will have to take about 13 credit hours, right? So in total, you will have 143 credit hours, which is 1 semester has 12 weeks and then 2 weeks for final exam. Okay, so this is an example of our lecture hall, and this is the examination hall, sometimes in Chancellor Hall, and also this is the picture of internship program. Okay, so now, for example, if you graduated with a chemical engineering degree, so where you can work. So basically, as a graduate from chemical engineering, you can work in a lot of sector. You can work in chemicals and allied products. You can also work in water industry in terms of environment, wastewater treatment, environmental protection and recycling. You can work in food and drink industry, energy, oil and gas, and then under education, or pharmaceutical, biotech, materials, process plant, IT, process plant and equipment manufacture, consultancy, and also even in other industries. So basically, with the degree of chemical engineering, you are actually open to a lot of future in different sector. Okay, so it is not only limited to only if you say that, oh, we are going to work only in Petronas, so not that, not only that. Actually, you can. It is open to any to many sectors. Okay, so let us see whether chemical engineers are still in demand. Is it still relevant? So you can see that top occupation for 2030, and engineers are still in high demand. In the top 10 occupation, and as well as especially for chemical engineers. So chemical engineers, they can work in different type of engineering sector. So not limited only for a chemical plant. You can also work in event for electronics plant. You can also work for chemical engineer, because basically you still have a safety to work in safety. So this is also part of chemical engineers work sector. Okay, right. So the employment of chemical engineer is projected to grow 4% from 2019 to 2029, and about as fast as the average for all occupation. So you should not worry a lot. So there are a lot of future for works in chemical engineering. Okay, so these are the mega trends. So what is a mega trend? So mega trend is actually what are the trends that we are going to see, the big trends that we are going to see in the coming 10 years. So basically, we are going to look at the shifting of economic power. So, and then you are going to see that we have a resource scarcity. That means that the existing resources is going to fall. So we need to come out with new things, right? And then we have also a technological breakthrough, and we are all living it on the technological breakthrough. And also we have a new social change. That means that people are more moving towards more on social, even there's social entrepreneurship, which is currently rising. And then we have also rapid urbanization. And especially chemical engineer, we are really related to the resource scarcity, which means that we have changes in terms of increased strain on the planet's resources. There are less resources, and then you have increase in CO2 or carbon dioxide emission, which drive the global warming, and oil becomes increasing scarce resource. So with that, where we have traditionally used to oil and gas industry and making industry works with fuels. Now we have to come up with a new solution, and basically shifting from oil to clean energy, and then we will more produce and less inputs, and then we need to have a transformation of carbon-based mobility. So that means that in the future years, we are going to see more and more renewable energy in terms of electric and fuel cell vehicles, and then products from recycled materials. We no longer use the original products, but we increase in terms of the recycled materials, and increase production also in terms of agriculture, right? So these are the mega trends, and these are the sustainable development goals, where actually as a chemical engineer, we are really into these sustainable development goals, which, if you remember, just now I've mentioned that as a chemical engineer, you translate from producing products, any products from a lab scale, you want to mass produce products. So in terms of producing products, we will have to think of how to make products which is sustainable in terms of producing, at the end, clean water, and then helps in terms of reduce poverty and reduce hunger, and then using affordable and clean energy, and maintain the economic growth, and so on and so forth. So we, as a chemical engineer, we really play an important role in the environmental sustainability, and to develop cleaner ways to produce and use energy, plastic, resources, products in a sustainable manner. Meaning that when we talk about sustainable, that means that what we consume or what we produce must be something which can benefit for the future generation. So chemical engineers are we are really looking towards into improving or changing the world to a better place, right? Okay, so with that, what other skills which is required for chemical engineers? So here students are paying for degrees that they are unable to use, and there is a disconnect between what employers need and what qualification students are living university with. So meaning that traditionally, we actually emphasize only on the education, that means on the knowledge, but it is no longer only on the degree, right? So we need to have the skills. So what are the top skills that we need for future? So it's more towards learning strategies, psychology, instructing, sociology, education, training, coordination. If you look at it, there are many soft skills that are required for the students. Okay, so it's no longer only you have to be a very, very intelligent and you got CGPA 4.0, but actually we need more than that. That means that we need to have soft skills. Okay, so what are the important attributes? So one is now we need to have a fluency of idea. That means that we need to perform, to have produce graduates which have lots of ideas, and then where they can give new ideas because of the complexity of the world, which is always changing. So you need to have a very quick ideas, and also active learning. So what is the active learning? That means that you have to learn something very quickly, something that you never see before, but you have to adapt to it. That means that you need to have a self-directed learning. So we can see that what we are facing right now is something that has never been seen in 10 years back. So before this, we have always been seeing traditional learning. Now we have to shift to online learning. So before this, we cannot even imagine that we can learn virtually, but now everything has moved. So if we are not quick enough, to adapt, it's going to be hard, right? Okay, so the next is actually the learning strategies. That means that you have to have self-generated thoughts, feelings, and action. And then you need to coordinate how to organize your work and your time, and etc. Okay. And the most also important attributes, which is originality. That means that future jobs will require human employees to take on the less than routine. That means that you need to have your own originality, because maybe we have the IR Industrial Revolution 4.0. That means that more towards automation. That means that robotics, and also you have AI, artificial intelligence, and that. But how do we, us as humans, we need to have original ideas and so on. Okay, so how actually in UTP we groom the future ready chemical engineers. So this is our program educational objective. So which is to produce engineers who are competent with potential to become leaders in chemical process and related industries, and also engineers who are committed to sustainable development of chemical process. So leaders and also sustainable development. So actually we have look at our course delivery, course content, industry internship program, and student development to achieve the skills that we want. So basically, our course delivery in UTP, we have implemented this, which is active learning with technology. So what is active learning? That means that in the class, so before this, we are used to, for example, listening to lecture, listening for 2 hours lecture, and then writing notes. So now, no more this kind of traditional learning. So what we do is within the 1 to 2 hours, we have a bookends approach. That means that at the beginning, you know what you are going to learn, and then we have a very short, maybe 15 minutes on lecture, and then after that, you're going to do some activities where you got to be active, and then you can participate and learn on what you have seen, and so on, and then maybe at the end some testing on what you have understand. So this is what we call active learning. That means that you are actively participating in classes. We have also other types. For example, cooperative learning, so basic and group activities, so which is surrounding on learning in groups. That means that in your group, you are able to actually throw your ideas and then solve some problems with the help of your friends. And then at the end, you are going to share with your friends and also in classes to see whether you have really understand the content. So in these terms, you can produce positive interdependence, face-to-face, and also individual accountability. We have also different types, flipped classroom and so on. So I'm not going to explain further, but basically it's active learning is something where you are going to be more active and you are the owner of your learning, and you, with the help of the lecturer, we are going to help you to actually create a more conducive environment for learning, right? So we have also problem-based learning, where you're given a problem and try to solve in groups and so on, right? So this so that is how we deliver, and we use a lot of, for example, of technology as well. And then we have our content of chemical engineering, our program, and I'm not going to go into details, but our program is actually also being looked at by the international external examiner who look and review our program. So Prof. Klaus Helgaard, which is from Imperial College London, we work together to look at our content, and then we have also an industrial advisory panel. That means that we work with industries to look at our program, whether they are suited to the future demand in the workforce. Okay, and we have also so these are some pictures of industrial advisory panel, and then we have also adjunct lecture from industry. We have Petronas and others, another industry as well, which will give topics related to the industry and lecture series and so on. So another one, which is the students really like about our program, is on the internship. So basically, we have a 28 weeks program. So it's about 7 months of internship. So with the 7 months, it gives you more time to work and also be really in the working environment with a lot of company. It's open to any company to work for your internship. So this is actually the one of the core point in our program. And now I'm just going to show you maybe some activities by the students. So in terms of student development, we have a student mobility program, we have technopreneurship, and also student activities. I guess maybe you have seen it before this. So these are some pictures of our students who went to Japan and also in Europe, in Turkey. So they get to go for 1 or 2 semesters with our partner universities, and then they learn over there, and then there will be a cost exemption. So that means this is a very good opportunity for you, graduated with UTP, but you have a time to study overseas. So this is a very good opportunity for students, right? And then we have also student activities in terms of club. There are 2 main clubs, but others also, but this is typically for chemical engineering. We have IChemE and also IKE. And these are those competitions that students participated. We have participated in NACES, National Chemical Engineering, and won several medals. We have also involved in IChemE competition. And then this is in the Regional Chemical Engineering Undergraduate Congress in 2019. We have, and then this is for students always in the first year, we encourage them to do Chemicar. So this is a competition by IChemE. They build a car by chemical processes to move the car. So this is a very interesting, and you're going to see this in the first year. Right, so they even go up until international chemical competition. So it's a very good achievement by our students. And then we have also, this is collaboration with Japan, and this is actually another competition held in Indonesia. So our students won the awards over there. And also another program, which is MPU4, which is a CSR project. That means that it works with the community society. So this is program in Indonesia. Students got to go to Indonesia and do some CSR activities. For example, here they are building a water treatment system. So it's a good thing, which is done by our own undergraduates of chemical engineering. Okay, and we also participate in a chemical IKE program. And the students, Abdullah, he won gravity driven membrane. So he worked under FIP project and he won the competition. So lastly, okay, so for example, here are the available scholarship education loan for our students, which is you can fund your studies, and this is the sponsoring agency, and you can work with YTP or Tabung Amanah Zakat UTP for sponsorship. So this one, all the information are also available in website. Okay, so with that, I'm going to end the presentation.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, we'd like to proceed with the Q&A. The Q&A session. Okay. Do you guys have any question? You can post it in the discussion forum.
I also, for students, I have also added a live poll where you can answer at the right side. You can click at the live poll. You can see that there is a poll. So some of you have answered the poll on why are you interested in chemical engineering, right? So you can choose as many as you can, as you want, okay? And we're going to see. So most of you at this time, most of it is I love chemistry, right? So this is common. And then, at the same time, if you have questions, you can put it on the discussion forum, okay?
Yeah.
While waiting for the result of the live poll, okay? So we have 28 votes, right? So 14.
Okay, guys, any question to the lecturer? to Dr. Wan Zairin. You guys have any burning question? Or just a simple question or any question that would be?
Yes. At the department, we have about 50 lecturers teaching in. So we are among the biggest department with the highest number of lecturers because of, for example, in a year, we have, for each batch, maybe we can have up to 200 students for each semester. So it's a very huge number of students, and they come from different backgrounds. That means that from different, some from foundation, and also from others, for example, A-level, diploma from other universities and so on. Okay, so those are from foundation, comes right after SPM, they enter foundation program. Okay, okay, discussion. Can you explain a bit the difference between applied chemistry? Okay, so like I said just now, what are the difference between applied chemistry and chemical engineering? So applied chemistry, you learned basically it's more concentrated on the chemistry part. That means that more on the science of the science of how to make the products. That means that, for example, if you want to make a product C, so in applied chemistry you learn to A plus B to make C. So chemical engineering, so it's not about that. Chemical engineering is that you know already the process. That means that there are scientists or chemists who have already proved that the A plus B becomes C. So you have the products, you know how the process. And then chemical engineering is translating. So if you want to become engineers, that means that you produce, you work in plant and so on. That is actually chemical engineering. So applied chemistry, you are still like a scientist. So applied chemistry, you're going to become scientist. But if you are taking chemical engineering, then you are an engineer. So this is the differences. So one is engineer and one is maybe technologies and so on. So even the job scope, for example, when you apply for work, it's different, totally different. So engineers are different and scientists are different. But some chemical engineer can work as a scientist, but not the other way around. So you're actually more open to opportunity when you have the degree as a chemical engineering as compared to applied science. In terms of the courses are also different. In terms of the courses, to make it short, in chemical engineering, you have lots of maths, you have physics, and maths, physics, you have also maths, physics. These are the main courses in chemical engineering. In applied science, you have less physics and also maths in that sense. Okay, right. So another one is material science engineering and chemical engineering similar? They are not similar. So material science or materials engineering, for chemical engineering, so that means that in their basis, they still learn on organic chemistry, for example, physical chemistry, analytical chemistry. So they have a background in chemistry. And then you have also on process engineering. For example, in materials engineering, you learn about different materials, for example, metals, polymer, etc. So you don't have a lot of chemistry part, and then you don't have the reaction engineering and also on how to make materials in a plant. So the one which is missing in materials engineering is actually on the plant. So materials engineering is not involved in that. So materials engineering more towards corrosion, how to maintain the pipeline. So that is materials engineering. But chemical engineer is producing, mass produce products. So that's what the difference between materials engineering and chemical engineering. So they are not similar. Normally material science or materials engineering, they will be in mechanical department, mechanical engineering department. Okay. Another one is in semester 2 and 3 in year 3, student will go to the industrial site. Okay, right. So after year 3, you will have actually, so first year, second year, third year. So at the end of the third year, you will go for an internship for 7 months. So that is, so it's not on the, yeah. So it's semester 2 and 3 in year 3. So it's after third year, you will go for SIT. So you will go to industrial site, for example, in industry, for example, in a manufacturing plant, glove plant, or Petronas, or Schlumberger, Shell, and whatsoever. And then you will be there for 7 months to do your internship. Okay, so that is what is SIP and SIT is. All right. Do you have any more questions?
In live Q&A, one question from Ahmad Daniel: are the intern programs for the chosen?
The live Q&A. Oh, okay. The intern program for the chosen. For the chosen, I'm not sure what does it mean. But for example, internship programs for all students, all chemical engineering student or even non-chemical engineering student, all students have to go through internship. So they have to go. They have to find an internship. Okay. Right. So next is what other subjects? Oh, subjects. I did not share just now. The subject basically during the first year you have like a basics of chemistry, for example, organic chemistry, physical chemistry, and then you have an introduction to chemical engineering or principle of chemical engineering, and then you have subject, for example, reaction engineering, and then in the second year you will have on fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, and then others in the third year it's more towards how to make to work in the plant. So that means that you have a process plant design, optimization, process modeling, and the final year, and it will be more specific. For example, maybe if you're interested in doing as process engineer, so you have a process system engineering. If you're towards safety, then you have an option on process safety. If you're more towards a petrochemical industry, then there's a petrochemical option. And if you're more towards environment, then you have a core on environment. That means for wastewater and etc. Okay.
We have another question from Khairul Alfin.
Okay, so Khairul, what is a chemical engineering student take applied chemistry? No, if you are in the chemical engineering department, that means that you are taking courses in the chemical engineering department. If you are in the applied science or in the fundamental applied science department, then you are following the courses over there. So there is no overlap. They are different subject also. Okay, so there's no, not possible. Right. Is that more question? Right. Okay. I'm looking forward. I'm also looking forward for you to come to UTP, and also Hazim as well.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Seriously, can't wait. Thank you.
We are also so happy to see students coming.
Okay.
Right.
Any other question, guys?
So if you look at the live poll, most of you answers that they love chemistry, and then chemical engineering is the coolest course. And then many exciting career choices. So yeah, we are happy to see that, and you are most welcome to join chemical engineering.
Yes. Okay. Discussion forum was okay. I think that's all. If there is last question, guys, is there any other last questions? Okay.
All right, thank you. That was coolest course ever. Yeah. All right. Okay.
All right. Okay, I think that's it, Dr. Wan Zaidin. All right.
Okay. Right. So thank you for all the participants also. So we really excited to see you coming to the our department, inshallah.
Okay. Okay. Again, thank you. Thank you again to Dr. Wan Zaidin for the session, for the sharing session on the chemical engineering. I hope that you guys can obtain as much as information. I believe that for those who are in this room, definitely they are focusing on chemical engineering. So with that, again, thank you all. So thank you again. Then we are going back to the final session, to the last session, closing session. So you can exit this room, and then you can join the last session. Here I will share on the financial assistance and the closing session. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.